Here now to explain how politicians and American leaders are falling short on promises they've made is a man who fights hard for the American people he serves. Texas Senator Ted Cruz joins us now. Senator, really good to have you. You know, I did a monologue a couple of days ago about how the House was failing to lead, and specifically the House. We're going to get to the Senate in one second. But in the House, you know, we noticed that that majority that they had went from 5 to 4 down to 3 now. When they bounced George Santos because of some sort of ethical issues, meanwhile, the Democrats are rife with ethical issues, and they circle the wagons around them. And then, you know, McCarthy leaves. He takes his ball and goes home when he's not speaker anymore. Left them in a position, a predicament of only maybe a 2 or 3 seat majority. Talk to us a little bit about how the risks to the GOP with what's going on in the House, and then we'll get to the Senate caucus in a minute.
Yeah, look, I share your frustration. We started with a very narrow majority in the House, and unfortunately, with the events you described, the majority got smaller and smaller. That was not good. I wish it had played out differently, that we'd maintained the majority we had. And the reason is, to do anything in the House, you've got to get to 218. You've got to get to a majority, and we're making it harder for us to do that. Listen, the House, there are members all over the place. They disagree on just about everything. And so I will say Mike Johnson, the Speaker, is a friend of mine. I like him. He's a conservative. He's got an incredibly difficult job, and I think he is doing as well in that job as humanly possible. And in fact, I want to commend the House on something they just did, which is the House came together and impeached Alejandro Mayorkas. That's something they should have done 2 years ago, but I'm glad they did it now. It's the right thing to do. Mayorkas aided and abetted and facilitated a criminal invasion of this United States. 10.6 million people coming illegally into this country. Americans are dying. Americans are being brutalized. We are seeing absolute chaos. And that was an example of the House leading, and it's also an opportunity now for Senate Republicans to demonstrate we can back up the House and fight with Chuck Schumer to make sure we have a real trial, and that he doesn't just give the proceeding the back of the hand and refuse to consider it at all.
We hope you get that. I'm not sure you will, but we hope you do, which brings me to the Senate. Now, Mitch McConnell, you know, he jumped in bed with Chuck Schumer. Same Chuck Schumer, and you know, they put together a couple of packages that were dead on arrival in the House. And Senator, I want to talk to you a little bit about Mitch McConnell. They put a package together twice now that ignored the border. Well, the first one actually quantified that 2 million illegals can come into the country. House said we're not going to pick that one up. And then Mitch McConnell got in bed again with Schumer and said, well, how about this $95 billion taxpayer money, a giveaway to Ukraine, to Israel, to Hamas-loving people in Gaza, and to Taiwan. And you guys put it together, not you, but McConnell did. Is it time, Senator, you've talked about this, can you get rid of Mitch McConnell for the American people, please? Because he's certainly not a conservative in my eyes and in most of my audience eyes. And why not you, sir? Why aren't you the GOP leader, whether it's minority now or majority come November?
Well, listen, Eric, when it comes to frustration with Mitch, you are preaching to the choir. And I have been vocal for a long, long time that Mitch McConnell is not leading the Senate Republicans effectively, that he's not fighting for conservative principles, that he's not honoring the promises we made to the voters. That divide is fundamental at the rage and fury people feel towards Washington. This border deal was a debacle from the very beginning. The bill that was negotiated with Chuck Schumer was an absolute train wreck. Not only did it not secure the border, it made the border worse, because what it did is it took Joe Biden's open borders and it codified it. It put it into law. It codified catch and release, which is what's caused these open borders. It normalized, as you noted, 5,000 illegal immigrants a day. That's 1.8 million a year. That's about 6 million over Joe Biden. It normalized that every year into perpetuity, a continuing rolling invasion. It would have put it into statute. When the people came here illegally, it gave them immediate work permits to go to work and get jobs immediately. For some of them, it assigned them taxpayer-funded lawyers. This was a bad bill. And so we killed it. I was proud to stand up and lead the effort to kill this bill. And unfortunately, what did Republican leadership say? Well, if you're not willing to pass a bad bill on border security, then to heck with it, we won't pass any. We'll just fund the Ukraine funding, which is what the Democrats desperately want. Here's what I think the House of Representatives is going to do. I think they're going to take up the bill that the Senate has passed, and I think they're going to attach H.R. 2 to that bill. H.R. 2 is the very strong border security legislation that the House has already passed. It would end catch and release. It would build the wall. It would secure the border. In the Senate, I'm the author of H.R. 2, and I am fighting for us to pass it, but Chuck Schumer said on day one, absolutely not. Why? Because it would actually secure the border, and we as Democrats, we want those borders open.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Chuck Schumer turn that one down. It's clear that they don't care about the border, and they're just trying to play games to get their Ukraine funding. You know, do you want that job? Do you want the leadership job?
Well, one step at a time. I've said publicly more than once, I think it's time for Mitch to go, that he's not effectively leading the conference. And I think there's enormous frustration in the conference right now with the job that is being done, because the last 3 months, the winners, Chuck Schumer and every Senate Democrat, are winners. Why? Because Republican leadership stands up and says, hey, this bill we negotiated was great. It wasn't great. It was terrible. But when Republican leadership says it's great, you know what happens? Every Senate Democrat repeats those words.
You are preaching to the choir. I'm suggesting this because I would love to see you, the leader of the GOP Senate body, whether it's minority, majority. I think if you were a majority leader, if you were the leader, it would end up being a majority. Do you want the job?
Well, Eric, let me be clear. The job I want is the job I have right now. It's representing 30 million Texans. It's fighting every day for 30 million Texans. And the fights have never been more serious. My job, as I view it, the Senate today is like the Roman Colosseum. And every day I strap on the armor and I grab a battle axe and I go fight the barbarians. And what I'm trying to do every day is, number one, stop bad policies that Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are pushing through. And they're pushing through an enormous number of terrible policies. But then, number two, pass positive, bipartisan, pro-jobs, pro-growth legislation that helps Texans, Texans have more jobs, helps Texans be more secure in their homes, helps Texans protect their constitutional rights. That is a job I literally, Eric, jump out of bed every day, thrilled to have the opportunity to fight for the people of Texas.
No, I have a couple topics I want to get to. Very quickly, the border, Governor Abbott has said he's going to go ahead and start building the wall. He's going to put an 80-acre base at Eagle Pass. Sounds great, Senator. Just dumb question. What took you all so long?
Look, I'm glad Texas is leading. Greg Abbott is a good friend of mine. He and I have worked together for many years. I'm glad Texas is standing up and leading, spending billions of dollars building the wall, putting law enforcement there at the border. Now, understand, under the Constitution, Texas shouldn't have to do any of this. This is the responsibility of the federal government. But Joe Biden is refusing to follow the law. And so I'm proud my home state of Texas is saying, you know what? We are being invaded. We are being invaded, and we're going to exercise our constitutional authority under Article 1, Section 10 to stop an invasion. That is the right thing to do. It's something I've encouraged Greg Abbott, our governor, to do, and I'm glad to see Texas leading. It is a fight, and right now, where is Joe Biden? You've got a battle between Texas and Mexican drug cartels and human traffickers, and the Biden administration has come in on the side of the Mexican drug cartels and human traffickers. The Biden administration is fighting Texas in court, saying tear down the walls, tear down the barbed wire, let the traffickers in. It is truly Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass.
And let the criminals in. We're seeing now more and more video of crimes being perpetrated in our major cities from the people who they say, oh, don't worry, they're just coming over here because they're being politically persecuted at home. BS. They're coming over here to live a life that they live at home, crime-ridden lives that they live at home, and they're bringing it to a city near you. Senator, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. You posted this on, I believe, Twitter or X or somewhere, and I want to ask you a question about it. So you were being harassed in your home by anti-Israel protesters. We'll show a little sound bite of this. Take a listen. All right. So the question is, Senator, I think Texas has a stand your ground law, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if they step on your property there, can't you,
coming back after the
I don't know, pull out your firearm and tell them to get the hell off your property?
Well, you can, and unfortunately, we have seen that happen. I had 3 anti-Israel protests directed at me, 3 in a period of 36 hours. The clip you just played there was 7 a.m. Saturday morning. They've got noisemakers. It's designed. I'm in a residential neighborhood. It's designed. There are a lot of little kids that live in the houses alongside me. That was designed to wake the kids up with their screaming, with their being obnoxious, and it was designed to be intimidating. Look, my family was home. I was home. That was designed to threaten my young children. We're seeing this pattern on the radical left where they're embracing pro-Hamas protesters and engaging in threats. And we need to take these threats seriously because we're seeing these threats manifest into violence. Now, I want to commend Houston Police Department and the constables. They were there immediately, trying to prevent it from escalating into violence. But this is a pattern that is dangerous. And I'll tell you this, Eric, I am not backing down one iota. I stand with the people of Israel. I am proud to stand with the people of Israel. Hamas is a vicious, evil, terrorist organization, and they need to be utterly eliminated from the face of the earth. And I'm going to continue being the strongest voice and the strongest champion for Israel in the United States Senate. And these acts of harassment don't slow me down one iota.
Senate Leader Ted Cruz, oops, I jumped the gun a little bit. Senator Ted Cruz, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Eric.